Skiff had open source email and also had drive storage and also document collaboration. It's somewhat of a newer service in the space, and they definitely have made a splash a little bit when it comes to adding Web3 features and whatnot. And I definitely have seen Skiff talked about quite a lot, and especially privacy communities, as their CEO is pretty active in forums and things like that. Kind of took everybody off guard because as of the last 24 hours of me recording this, they just updated their website to be shut down. So yes, as of right now, you can no longer create a Skiff account, and they pretty much have this PSA that they're joining Notion. So their mission is to bring freedom to the internet by helping people collaborate and communicate with confidence and privacy. And they have an alignment with Notion, which for people who don't know, Notion is kind of a organization platform, I'd say, that allows you to organize your thoughts, and it's very popular with people who are very productivity oriented. And I've heard really good things about Notion, though it's not really a privacy and security oriented tool. Now, if you scroll to the bottom of the Skiff website, you're going to see this learn about migrating your data, which is going to cover more of the details here, which is pretty much for people who need to look into this, there is no smooth transition. I mean, Notion is not an email provider, and so Skiff is essentially saying you need to download, export your data, import it somewhere else. And the same thing goes for Notion. So Skiff will still be running their services. You can still use their email for the next 6 months or so, but keep in mind that you need to move away ASAP. You should be able to import the mbox file for your emails into other email providers. So again, just to summarize, if you're a Skiff user, you should still be able to log in and use your account, but definitely start exporting your data. Start right now. So try to finish up within 30 days if you can. Export, find somewhere to import it. In the meantime, let's go back to just everybody, even if you're not a Skiff users, and what this means for the digital rights space, because I think there's some important lessons here. The first one, I have some bullet points right in front of me. So the first one is be wary of services that haven't been around for a while. We talk about this a lot back here, especially if they have yet to prove their business models are long-term sustainable. It's very easy for a new service to come out and have all these cool things and get a lot of hype and get people excited for it. It's another thing to actually exist for years on end and actually provide people a usable experience that is maintained and has a consistent reputation. Be especially careful with VC-funded services because a lot of them still have to figure out if they are sustainable. Be wary before you hop on especially a brand new service that really hasn't demonstrated any kind of history. On that note, I also recommend my second bullet point is slowly lean into services and think twice before migrating 100% of your use case to a provider. It's okay to go 50-50, it's okay to go 70-30, it's okay to have maybe Proton Mail and then use Skiff for a few other things. So that way, as you're still exploring this over time, you can move more and more of your use cases over to Skiff, but that way you still wouldn't be 100% all in on one provider. Now, my third bullet point here is do not let situations like this scare you away from digital rights tools. There are so many great services that all exist on like our resources page that have existed even before like the Snowden revelations in 2013 that continue to demonstrate their commitment to their users. So don't take that for granted. I feel like so many people don't really appreciate how hard it is to be in this business for 10 years or sometimes more. I actually know a couple of developers that are kind of upset about the Skiff situation because in their eyes, this makes it a little bit harder for newer audiences to use privacy tools because they're going to remain skeptical that these aren't tools that are actually good alternatives and they're going to shut down anyway. It decreases the kind of trust that users can have in the digital rights space when we see services like this shut down. Fortunately, it's not a super common thing, but I guess the fear is that if it starts happening more often, then people are going to be less likely to even attempt to use these services. So I'd say the takeaway for all of you listening is it's good for us to reflect on all of the services that do exist that are committed to sticking around. And also don't take that for granted. It's not a bad thing for a service to be around for a long time. I think it's actually a very good thing. And I actually, personally, you don't have to have the same philosophy, but in my eyes, that history speaks volumes, especially in this space. And I'm always going to be more on the safe. I'm going to feel safer going with a service that's been around for a long time with a good track record over a newer service that might have one or two improvements, but is brand new and has yet to prove where its values actually align. It's easier to produce a slight improvement to something that already exists. It's another thing to actually sustainably keep that going for a long time and actually be a better option over years on end.